Today I'll be doing my current favorite go-to look that I briefly talked about during my monthly roundup and empties. I'm not sure there was a lot of interest for it, but honestly I can't wait to share it with you, so we're doing it. I'm going to start doing my makeup and then we can start chatting. I finally decided to open my Urban Decay primer potion. Now my Inglot eyeshadow base is not completely finished yet, but I always think it is wiser if you're trying a new eyeshadow primer to start using it while your old one is still in rotation, so that if it turns out your new one is not working to your satisfaction, you still have the old one to fall back onto, and it gives you some extra time to repurchase the one that works for you instead of using that one that doesn't. Now, first of all, I don't really like the packaging of this primer potion thing, because it is one that comes with a doe food, and I have the feeling that it will be exceptionally difficult to get everything out of here. What I do like is obviously that you can use the little doe food to apply the product. I have used this product now twice in the past week. I think I decided mid last week that I'm going to start using it again, and then I used it, I think, at the very end of the week, and I also used it on Saturday with the look that you saw me wear for my monthly roundup and empties. And on Friday I had no issues, and I couldn't remember exactly what I did on Friday, but I'm pretty sure that I probably used a combination of the primer together with glitter glue. And on Saturday, when I did my monthly roundup and empties, I didn't. I used only the primer together with an eyeshadow and then one of the toppers, the liquid lurex eyeshadows from Lisa Eldridge. I'm going to take a bit of Glowless by Auric. And my eyeshadow on Saturday creased really bad before even the 10-hour mark, which is rather startling, because usually with the Inglot eyeshadow primer I kind of got used to basically never having any creasing. And this basically brought flashbacks from the last time that I used the Urban Decay primer potion, which was many years ago. Many years ago. And I had a similar experience. My eyeshadows were creasing with this primer. But at the time, I thought, okay, maybe I wasn't using it right, or I was not using enough, I was using too much. I don't know. I decided to give it another chance. So I am going to continue playing around with it for a few more days. I'm going to do another look today where I'm not going to use a glitter glue. This primer shouldn't solely rely on glitter glue to keep my eyeshadow in place. Usually with the Inglot one I don't have issues like this, even if I'm not wearing any glitter glue. And if it turns out that it doesn't hold my eyeshadow in place, I'm going to have to go back to using the one from Inglot, because that one is currently my absolute favorite. I'm going to take the Dior Backstage foundation, and I'm actually just going to use that today, because I've got the feeling that maybe I've slowly started to get back to my normal color, and I think this is going to be fine. Yeah, this is, by the way, the shade 2N. It's always a little bit too dark for me anyway to use in the winter months, so I primarily use it in the summer as it is. But I think now it's going to be the perfect transition between my summer shade and my more traditional, you know, winter shades. Luckily, that gives me the opportunity to finally finish up that Dior Backstage foundation and finally open my usual shade of the Double Wear, because I did purchase that already last year. I'm still going to do the Lancome Tainted Doll Concealer, even though it is not technically my summer shade, but I will continue to use it until it gets ridiculously too dark for me, which it might already be getting. Well, for now it's still okay-ish. On a different note, sometimes, like most of the time when I watch YouTube, I'll be watching beauty YouTube, because it's my hobby and passion not only to apply makeup but to observe other people applying and rambling about makeup. But every now and then I will go down the rabbit hole of watching completely random things on the internet. And yesterday YouTube suggested to me that I watch teenagers, like modern day teenagers, reacting to NSYNC and the Backstreet Boys. And the reason for that is because I think I watched the Hot Ones with NSYNC recently, so now my YouTube suggestions are filled with, you know, boy band suggestions, which is great because I love boy bands. BSB forever, FYI, if you didn't know whose team I was on, Backstreet Boys. Not that I didn't enjoy, like I wasn't hardcore Backstreet Boys I never listened to, NSYNC or other boy bands, not at all, but my absolute favorite were the Backstreet Boys. By the way, I'm also going to take the Dior Backstage powder in the shade 2, and I feel like that is a great opportunity to actually finally finish this powder as well. And again, repurchase an old favorite that I'm sort of missing in my collection, which is Dim Light by Hourglass. I don't really currently have an Hourglass finishing powder in my collection, and I actually quite miss it. I'm going to do my brows with the Fluff and Hold Brow Wax from Too Faced. FYI, if you didn't know what the Hot Ones is, it's a show on YouTube where this dude eats spicy hot wings with celebrities, and like they have like a bunch of sauces which obviously increase in their spiciness as they go through them, and it is absolutely hilarious watching their reactions. Some of them can take spicy really well and others are absolute rubbish at it, which makes for great entertainment. Anyway, so they did one with NSYNC. Go watch it because it was actually quite funny. But anyway, back to the teenagers watching NSYNC and the Backstreet Boys. Obviously, modern day teenagers have absolutely no taste, and some of them actually found the Backstreet Boys and NSYNC to be a little bit cringy, which, you know, so disrespectful, Gen Z. Like, if you don't know the Backstreet Boys, under what kind of rock were you living, even if you were born in the 2000s? But okay, let's say that you don't know them, you don't know them. But let's talk about NSYNC. So, NSYNC, like I said, personally, I enjoyed their, you know, music, but I wasn't the hugest fan. So even back in the day, if you asked me to name all of their songs, sing along with all of their songs, or name all the 5 members of NSYNC, I would have struggled. However, how on earth did neither of these teenagers, I think only one of them, only one of those kids, could identify Justin Timberlake? My mind was flipping blown. Not for any other reason, but because Justin Timberlake is still to this day, I think, rather famous. He continued to make music throughout the 2000s. So I was like, how on earth do you not know who Justin Timberlake is? What? I'm going to take the Gucci bronzing powder in the shade 3 with the beautiful Sonia G Classic Cheek brush. And then what they also did is that they had reaction videos of like NSYNC and Backstreet Boys reacting to teenagers reacting to their music, which was also like funny to watch. I watched the one with the Backstreet Boys. I don't think I watched the one with NSYNC. I might have to look up to see whether I watched the one where NSYNC react to the kids watching their videos and stuff. But yeah, I thought that was a fun little fact, and you know what, I'm definitely going to educate my son on who the Backstreet Boys and NSYNC are, because how can you not know classic boy bands from the 90s? You know, pretty much the best decade ever, spoken as a true 90s child. I think some of you are in my age range, others amongst you might be slightly older or slightly younger. But if you have any sort of opinion on boy bands, I would love to hear it. Were you a BSB or an NSYNC girl? If you were, you know, any at all. Alright, sticking with Gucci, I'm going to take the soft red blush, which is this gorgeous chili pepper red coral type shade. Oh, such a beautiful color. I really just think colors like this really liven up my complexion so nicely. Anyway, it is a Monday morning today, and I plan on having somewhat like normal week in terms of like posting videos, because I'm still planning on filming my Wednesday pet pairing, but I am going away for work the end of the week, so the last 2 days of the week, and we're only coming back from the work trip on Saturday. So I'm not really sure whether I will have enough time to edit the video and post it on time, so it might be that the next video you see from me is at some point during the weekend. I'm going to take the Divine Rose highlighter to apply with my brand new Worker L from Sonia G. I absolutely love the way this brush buffs out highlighter. Look at the finish of this. Isn't that absolutely flawless? I'm going to take Fix Plus and my sponge to melt all the powders on my face a little bit better. Did I spritz anything at all? Or just like spritz the air? Great use of Fix Plus. Moving on to the eye look, as I mentioned in my monthly roundup on empties, this look sort of centers around like bronzy eyeshadows and like antique goldish type tones. So the first eyeshadow that I'm going to grab is the Ultra Suede Brown Pigment from Pat McGrath Labs. This is from a very old kit that she has released back in the day when she first released her brand. For those of you who remember, I was very lucky to be able to find this kit completely new on Vinted some time ago, and I snagged it so fast because I knew I was going to love every single eyeshadow in it, and that is indeed still the case. So I'm going to grab a bit of this eyeshadow, which is the most beautiful bronze with a slightly green undertone to it, which fits really, really beautifully with the color of my eyes. And in terms of its finish, this eyeshadow is actually quite subtle. There's really no strong metallic finish, there are no sparkles. It has a beautiful texture which really not really blurs, but it doesn't emphasize texture in any sort of way because it is so lightweight and not high shine and metallic. But what I really love about this eyeshadow really is the undertone. It is just so beautiful. So I basically use this eyeshadow usually as a one and done. I will just put it all over my lid with the Jumbo blender from Sonia G. And then, since I'm a sparkle kind of girl, I will apply something sparkly over top. And up until recently, my favorite way to add sparkle to this look was pairing it with the Bronze Seduction palette and just applying a little bit of Astral Luna Gold over top of the bronze to give it a bit of glitter. But as of recently, I've started using one of the Liquid Lurex eyeshadows from Lisa Eldridge because it is basically the absolute perfect finishing touch to this eyeshadow from Pat. I'm going to put just a little bit more here towards the outer corner of the eye. Next, I'm going to grab a flat shader brush and Titania, which is the Liquid Lurex eyeshadow from Lisa Eldridge that I was referring to, because this eyeshadow has very similar tones to Ultra Suede Brown from Pat McGrath, but it has a bit more of that antique gold sparkle running through it, and again that slightly greenish tinge and undertone to the eyeshadow, and I just think it is such a perfect pairing. And I really like applying these eyeshadows by just putting a bit on the back of my hand and then going in with a flat shader brush to pick up the product and sort of spread it across my eyelids. And Titania isn't necessarily also like a high shine, high metallic, super glittery eyeshadow. I mean, it is shiny and it is metallic, but it is not super glittery. But it creates so much dimension when you use it together with Ultra Suede Brown. I just love the two together. So now I'm very curious how the Urban Decay primer portion is going to fare throughout the day. Luckily today I'm only working sort of half day from the lab because I pick up Nicola from school on Mondays usually. The other days of the week I work full-time, but on Mondays I usually pick him up from school and then I either continue working from home in the afternoon or, you know, I do things together with him, stuff like that. But I'm curious how this look is going to hold up with the primer portion without having to risk looking ridiculous at work. Now, as also mentioned in my monthly roundup and empties, I like to pair this look with the shade Throne from Clionadh Cosmetics, which is one of their multi-chrome eyeshadows. It is a beautiful vibrant yellow with a very strong pink duochrome to it. So I like to apply that here in the inner corners, and especially if I'm wearing my little yellow shirt, it just looks perfect together. This eyeshadow also has a tiny bit of greenness going to it because the yellow shifts a little bit into a green and it has that beautiful pink sparkle to it. And to add to the perfection that already is the combination of these products, I'm also going to use a Renaissance Gold, which is one of the new Seamless Glide pencils from Lisa Eldridge, which is essentially like a blackened base with, yeah, those antique golden sparkles to it. So it is just absolutely perfect. I'm going to put that here in my waterline and a little bit on my lower lashes, and then I'm going to blend it out. These are very creamy and they smudge very easily. And I've not really had any issues with this eyeshadow, even though it has a dark base. smudging horribly on me throughout the day. I've really been enjoying these pencils from Lisa Eldridge. This one actually needs a bit of sharpening, I see. So I cleaned off my brush here, and I'm going to smudge the pencil from Lisa with that. I'm not gonna do sparkle moment because, like I said, this is not an intensely glittery look. This is the kind of look that just goes perfectly together in terms of the tones of the products used, but is not necessarily very impactful in terms of the glitter. Now, many lipsticks would be the absolute perfect finishing touch here. You could go for even a red lipstick or something like Cinnabar from Lisa Eldridge, or even like the more brownie things. But I personally have really been loving using my Flash 3 lipstick from Pat McGrath Labs, which is the absolute most beautiful nude terracotta shade. I just love the Flash lipsticks from Pat McGrath so much. I wish she would actually release like more colors in this range. She hasn't really done anything new with her matte trans lipsticks in a really long time, which is a shame because I feel like it could be expanded to include so many more beautiful shades than it does now. But anyway, I personally really love to wear Flash 3 when I wear this look, and also this shirt actually. This whole thing is a vibe. The earrings, the shirt, the makeup, the lipstick, it is all like, I've thought this through. Okay, I've thought this through. But anyway, I am very curious what you guys think about this look. Let me know in the comment section below. As usual, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!